Hello, you delicious existence. Welcome back to another video. My name's Jack, the snack that smiles back. And obviously you are here for more tales from the internet, so here's today's stories for you all. Once again, thank you for stopping by. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed today's content, and subscribe if you'd like to see more on the daily. Now enough booping, let's get on to the stories. First story, it's a throwaway. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister a failure in life and asking her to take care of herself? So I'm a 23-year-old female and I have a lot of siblings. My dad got married 5 times and has divorced 4 times, has 12 children in total, probably more than he does not even know about. I know it sounds so hard to believe, but we come from a culture where you are asked to have a lot of kids and are even praised for it. I don't maintain contact with most of them, only my half-sister and brother. Well, could you specify which one? Recently, as in 2 months ago, I got a call from my older half-sister, who's a 41-year-old female. Let's call her Nadine. Nadine said she was stranded in the city I live in after a Tinder date gone wrong. She had met someone online and traveled here to meet them and got catfished. She got robbed and needed some place to stay, so I gladly took her in. In my life, I've only met Nadine a bunch of times. The age gap is too big for us to actually have anything to bond over. She asked if she could stay with me for a while as my roommate, and I told her she can if she pays rent and does some chores, and she agreed. In the time she has been living with me, she has been making comments about how I earn my money. I earn a good amount. I managed to buy a shabby house with it. It may be messy, but a home is a home. I earned through an online adult site and some other ventures, and Nadine found it despicable. A week in, she began trying to talk me out of it. She said I was making a mistake, going against God, yada yada. I said I didn't need her input on it, and that if she has a problem with it, she can leave. She kept pressing me about it, and I've been ignoring it until today, when she asked me to come speak to her. She said that as my older sister, she was going to make sure I stopped doing these sinful things and choose a more proper path, and that she will inform my parents about how I am earning money. They think I have a desk job. I told her she is full of it, that it is my business. She has no right over me. Well, she called up my parents and told them, and I am ticked off. My parents have threatened to disown me, and I honestly can't understand what she expected to gain from it. So I told her she has 2 days to pack up and leave, and she said I was becoming a pathetic loser and some other stuff. I found that hilarious, since she was 41 with no spouse. No home of her own, she couch surfers her way through life and hasn't held a good job for more than 6 months. She literally got catfished and robbed and had to move into my home as she had nowhere to go. I called her a failure at life, that she has nothing to her name, no one who is even willing to take her in anymore because she has lived over 40 years without a plan or goal, that she should take care of herself and make something of herself before she can lecture me about her archaic opinions. She cried about it, and I ignored her and made myself dinner. Well, she said she will move out, and my parents are still ticked off at me, but can't really do anything to me. I feel bad about what I said, but I also feel it's justified. I don't know, man. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely, for judging them for getting robbed and catfished. Like, that's not their fault. Everyone sucks here. You should have kept your work life private if you needed the truth kept from your parents. You should have asked her to leave the first time she began lecturing you on your life choices. Once you started in with the personal attacks on her, you turned into the same kind of judgmental hypocrite. Yeah, sure, an eye for an eye makes the world blind, but the half-sister's throwing stones in a glass house. Call the OP petty for absolutely demolishing her, but she deserved it. Nata, she needed the wake-up call. What she did crosses the line, especially after you helped her out so much. She should make something of herself, says the online prostitute. Yeah, says the financially stable, independent woman with a house of her own. Fight, 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 fight. Kiss, kiss. Not the a-hole, obviously. Also, if this weren't a public forum, I would totally ask you to drop your OnlyFans or cam link. There's nothing more powerful than women supporting women. Yeah, I'm sure you're a woman. Cute office reference though. Not the a-hole. What a way to bite the hand that feeds you. No wonder she couch surfs at 40 years old. I would warn the younger generations about her using people till she finds your secrets to use against you. Show no shame and point out your stability in life and how they are supporting a bum's opinions. If they support her opinions, then they can support her lifestyle. You don't need them or her or their responsibilities. Here's the thing, you can't even accuse the OP of being an a-hole here without also accusing the other person of being the a-hole as well. They basically did the same thing to each other, it's just the OP did it far more effectively. You're free to think what you think in regards to what good it brings into society by sexualizing yourself for an income. That'd actually be an interesting topic to do a deep dive into someday. But again, that's not the main point here. The point is, was she an a-hole? Did she go too far? And I think no. You hit the nail on the head, and she's an idiot for biting the hand that feeds her. Next story is also a throwaway. Am I the a-hole for asking to have my deceased brother's room? My brother passed away at the age of 16 when I was only 9 years old, and I'm 16 now, and I share a room with my 14-year-old brother. I hate sharing a room with him because I can't change in my room because he's always in the room playing video games. When he has friends over, I have to sleep on the couch, and I just don't feel comfortable sharing my room with a boy. My mum has a room where no one is using it, but it was my older brother's room that she still hasn't even touched. Everything is in the same place he left it in. Even the garbage he left on the floor. His garbage is still full, and his bed is still unmade. She doesn't allow anyone to go into that room. If you even go one step into it, my mum will ground you. I love my brother, but I don't think leaving his room in the same place it was left in before he passed away is gonna bring him back. I recently asked my mom if I could have my brother's room, and she got really angry at me for even asking. She told me that I'm being selfish, and that if I touch her son's room, she'd send me to live with my dad. I told her I'd rather live with my dad because I have privacy there, which it really didn't help the situation. My aunt sent me a message saying how I'm an awful person, that losing a child is one of the hardest things to deal with, and if me sharing a room would help my mum, then I should just deal with it. Am I the a-hole for asking my mum to have my older brother's room? Well, clearly the best option for you here is to apply some method acting. Get some mascara, put the mascara along your beard, jaw area, rummage through that room for any clothes that are still left in the drawers, and voila, you're now technically your older brother, so therefore the bedroom's yours. Ha! Lawyered. Yes, your mother will lose her head and you will likely just be banned from the house, but look, it's still legally correct. Your mother is neglecting her living children, not the a-hole. Having siblings of opposite gender share a room is highly inappropriate at your ages. Very, in my opinion. Your aunt is right. You do not know how it feels to lose a son. But you did lose a brother. Your mother has not handled her grief well, it seems. Oh, and understandable, but she still has children who need her. Yeah, your mum needs to seek therapy to help manage her grief. Forcing her teenage daughter to share a room with her teenage son is not right. But changing your late brother's room into another's will be hard on everyone. But change can be very good and needed, and you need privacy. Need it. Yeah, okay, let's be some armchair psychologists for a second here. Don't worry, I'm super educated. I have private psychology lessons once a week. Well, I mean, it's called therapy, but you know, it's training. Obviously, Mummy Dearest wants to pretend that the brother is still alive. Hence why she hasn't even touched the room, also probably because she'd feel like she's just giving up on him. She's likely afraid of insulting his legacy, so to speak, and possibly thinks that she's the only one in the household who still remembers and recognizes him. I think the best alternate option here would maybe to apply some effort into, I don't know, some way to remember and acknowledge the brother. What you're seeing here is a chance to gain something, a bedroom, but all your mother sees here is something to lose. So treat this like a car dealership, you know. Alright, Mummy, I'll cut your deal. How about make a paper mache of his face for you? This story by Daynant. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister it's her fault that her baby daughter likes her father more? Now, my older sister has a 9-month-old baby daughter with her husband, who just recently learned how to crawl. She's also at the age where she can babble and coo affectionately in response to adults. My sister has always been a very career-driven woman, and before she fell pregnant, which was a happy accident according to her, she was working as a lawyer at a big law firm. Her husband works from home due to COVID. Now recently, my sister has been complaining to me and my mum that she feels like her baby doesn't like her and likes her husband more. I actually think this is true, since when we visited them, the baby always fusses when my sister's holding her, and immediately shuts up when her husband takes her. And she's been crawling and will never crawl towards my sister, always her husband. She'll talk to the baby, but she barely registers her. She just stares blankly or starts showing signs of distress. Meanwhile, the baby is always cooing happily and babbling around her dad. Now, I'm not saying that my sister dislikes her baby, but I think she severely underestimated how big of a commitment having a child was. She had a host of physical problems during her pregnancy. She also had a difficult labor and first month. Her baby was a big crier and would apparently wake her 5 or 6 times a night. After a month, my sister cited that she would go back to work since she was feeling extremely suffocated at home. Her and her husband worked this out, so she started going back to work at the firm while he took care of the baby during a big chunk of the day. They've kept this up since. Now, personally, I think it's very normal that the baby is exhibiting signs of liking her father more and coldness towards my sister. She hasn't been there for her baby, and they haven't had time to form a strong attachment bond. So, when my sister was complaining again at a family dinner last week, I told her, I think you should stop complaining because I think this behavior is normal given the reasons I stated above. It's your fault that your baby likes dad more because you chose your career over spending more time with your child. You chose to go back to work to avoid spending time with her because you find her annoying. Oh well, she did not take that well and actually started crying at the dinner table. My mum jumped to her defense and demanded that I apologize for being so rude to my sister, but I refused. Yeah, so now my whole family isn't talking. My mum's mad at me and my sister as well. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I feel like I need to clarify that my sister did not go back to work because her family needed her support financially. Her husband works in tech and easily makes enough to support the entire family. She was given 3 months of paid leave and only took 1 before returning because she couldn't handle being suffocated by the baby at home. My comment wasn't out of the blue. It only came out after months of her complaining about why her baby didn't seem to like her when she said multiple times that she works, so she doesn't have to be constantly nagged by her at home. The reason she went back to work is to avoid the responsibilities of taking care of her. She has said this multiple times. That's why I was upset and said what I said, because she can't have the best of both worlds. I'm not sure why people keep saying I'm being misogynist. I'm a female and I'm all for reproductive rights and women choosing their career over having a family. What I'm upset about is how my sister chose to have the baby and now cites to be more constantly annoyed by her and that she regrets having her, but also blames her baby for having psychiatric problems because she's showing signs of not liking her, which she also refuses to see a therapist for her feelings. But is that edit enough to persuade the internet?
Lol, no.
You're the a-hole. Babies almost always go through phases from one parent to the other. Next time you give unsolicited advice, you should really think about whether it's kind and helpful. Your sister was just looking for support, not to be guilted for supporting her family. Everyone sucks here. You kinda suck for calling it out like that, and the mum kinda sucks for openly admitting that she feels suffocated by her baby and went back to work to evade that. After months of complaining about something you put yourself in, I can't blame the OP for snapping like this. If it's been months and nothing's changed, I mean, unless the people are actually prying information for the mother and asking her why she's feeling upset, yada yada yada, then it's just sulking. You just gave her a wake-up call on her own BS. Nata, even before you updated your post, regardless of a wishy-washy baby, there is proof that if a child bonds more with one parent and not the other, the baby will favor them at the time. Can this change over time? Well, for sure. I agree with you that she doesn't get to go back to work after only a month to get away from the baby and then whine when her kid is more attached to the dad. It's normal to feel a pang of jealousy. What isn't normal is the constant complaints with no effort to address them. That's the other thing we have to ask here too, though. Were you offering any advice in the past? Did you and your family at any point actually provide some proactive choices that she could make towards fixing this issue with herself? Or did you just keep silent and nod your heads at her sulking? Because if that's the case, then you're pretty much just encouraging this behavior from her. You can't slam people for doing or saying stuff if you were just enabling it in the first place because you didn't have the guts to stand up for it when it first began. More people siding with the OP, of course, pointing out the reality that babies do bond with parents that they grow up with more. And again, if she wanted to have a better bond with the child, she shouldn't have ditched it for work as soon as she could. But I have to stand up for the point again, that's not the issue here. The issue is whether or not the OP went too far with what they said. And so my opinion's Yata. You handled this poorly. She wasn't making any personal attack towards you, only towards herself and her current situation. Your response was charged purely by emotional frustration, not constructive thinking towards the situation at hand. Again, this is assuming that they haven't at any point made some more constructive advice towards her in the past. But assuming that isn't the case and you just snapped at her out of nowhere, then yeah, you're the a-hole. Well, my oh my, that was an entertaining read of stories today. I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. Genuinely thank you for getting this far in the video, and that shows to me that you must have enjoyed yourself, or you forgot to change the video. Listen, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, share a comment of your opinions as well, I do like to read them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, come on. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can just unsubscribe if you're done with my face. But anyway, nothing else to say other than, once again, thank you, I love your face, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. My name's been Jack, bye-bye. Whee!